Hi everyone, good afternoon, and Eid Mubarak to you, your family members and loved ones that are both here in Dubai and around the world as we celebrate this special time. I just wanted to give you a quick update, and I promise today will be a quick update on a few of the elements that are happening here at the resort as well as at AMSA, so you know what we know and we can share with you what information it is that you might be wanting to know at this time. I'd like to start with obviously the resort. Over Eid, we've been very active. Many of you have been working, and I appreciate that. Many of you have been working very hard as we've been a little bit more busy, I think, than we initially expected to be. It was surprising over Wednesday and Thursday of last week to have such last-minute activity. But we've put a lot of marketing offers out there to the resident market, and obviously we're doing everything that we can to generate some activity. And I think having the beaches and some of the restrictions lifted by the Dubai authorities has helped us obviously generate more activity into the property. As we move forward into the week, I expect our volumes to decline. I think the midweeks are still going to be very quiet around Atlantis. And then the weekends, we'll have a little bit of activity in the rooms and a little bit of activity in our food and beverage outlets. But for us, we're going to obviously be very reliant on the resident market for the coming months. And so with that, I remind all of you how important this resident market is to us, and to make sure that we're embracing them, that we're giving them our full energy and attention, and that we're showing them our enthusiasm and appreciation for their business to be here. Because in this market, obviously everyone is competing for the same customer. And so the only way to stand apart is obviously the asset and the offerings that you have, but the most important element are the people. And so you are essential to our success in being able to ensure that we have the resident market continue to embrace and support us. With regards to the restrictions at the resort, they're still in place. Last night we had to close Lost Chambers. In addition to that, the water park remains closed, the pools, the gym, the spa. So we're still restricted from a facilities perspective. And our hope is in the next week or coming weeks, we'll start to see some of those restrictions lifted. With that, I know that that will be great for the resort in the sense that we will then be able to really unleash the full capability of Atlantis to our resident market and to our guests. We know that this property succeeds based on its energy and its ability to offer an unparalleled experience to our customers. And once we get the park and our other services back in full gear, I think that's where we'll really be able to stand apart from the competition. And so our hope is that we'll receive an announcement with regards to that as things continue to get better. On the international front, it's still unknown and uncertain. There are limited flights, but there's many restrictions. There's quarantines when you return to your home country. And so I expect still not a lot of international activity, particularly in June. Our hope is in July, we'll start to see some of those international restrictions lifted by some of our countries that support us, and we'll be able to measure and maintain that. The last subject that I wanted to talk about was AMSA. And I know that we've implemented some restrictions a couple of weeks ago, and it was because we had some cases of the COVID-19. And so with this, in the last week, we did an immense amount of testing with a series of colleagues that we thought had maybe been potentially exposed. And the good news is that we had a lot of those results come back and they were not. And so having that outcome was really good for us in the sense that now we feel like the mitigation is working, that the controls that we've put in place are working, and that for us, we don't have, a circumstance where we maybe need to be as worried as we were a couple of weeks ago. However, we still have about 250 colleagues today that are in isolation in AMSA 2. And our goal over the next couple of weeks is to bring those colleagues out of isolation. We still want to carefully monitor them, manage them, ensure that they're okay, ensure that they don't show any symptoms or positive results. And as we release them back into AMSA, that will put us in a much better position. So to answer the burning question of, well, when will the restrictions be lifted? My hope is in the next 7 to 10 days, we'll have a better understanding. We're still going to do some more testing this next week. We did receive approval to use our test kits And so we will be the first private employer in the region to actually be conducting their own testing, which will be an advantage to us from a timing perspective, but also to be able to ensure the health and well-being of our colleagues. Again, the standards that we've put into place have helped, and it shows in the numbers. And so from that perspective, we can be relieved in knowing that we feel like we now have everything contained within the AMSA residences. And that is really the most important thing. So those are my updates for this week. I wish all of you well. Be safe, be strong, be smart, and hopefully we'll all be back in action here very soon in the next month and a half or so. I wish all of you well. Thank you.